We had an awesome weekend. Want to acknowledge a couple pieces first. How about our women's basketball team? Rebecca, congratulations. Winning the WNIT on that big win on Saturday over Minnesota. Congratulations, staff. It was a great celebration. We had a couple other great things that happened over the weekend. One other, they got back late last night, but our baseball coach, Darren Hendrickson, had his 500th win yesterday. How good is that? And then we came to an agreement Friday night with the guy that you're going to introduce today. That helped me sleep a little better. I got up to 6 hours of sleep, so that was a world record. But no, we had a great weekend. We appreciate all of you being here. There's so many thanks to go around. Many people had to pitch in to help make this happen. And it starts with our chairman of the board, Joe Conran, who helped from night and day. We were texting at wee hours of the night. Joe, thank you for helping make this all happen. Thank you. To a guy in Florida who I know is following, Dr. Schertz, who is deeply involved. I spoke to him this morning. He's so fired up to have Josh here. As Rich and I spoke many times, and we talked to people nationally, the name Rick Majerus kept coming up, and Rich is like, he's kind of a new era Rick, and Josh will share some moments that he had with Rick back in the day. But what Rich did to help us through this process, I can't thank him enough. So thanks to Dr. Schertz, even though he's not here. We had many in the community, and personally in the community, that helped me through this process. From Bob O'Loughlin, who's just here, we had many a breakfast out at the MAC through this process, and Bob kept telling me, Chris, just make sure you get the right one, and I think we got the right one. So Bob, I told him that this morning. I'm thrilled. A guy by the name of John Johnson, who I spoke to many times, his whole deal is how do you be relentless in your aggressiveness, but also be respectful. And I think we were that. I think that's part of what brought this partnership together, is the trust that we built throughout this process. And then there's a guy by the name of Jim Kavanaugh, who I spoke to regularly, and he talked about how do you build sustainable success. And so I listened to all these people as we went through it. There's a guy in the back row here who I spoke to many times, and he's just this calming influence, Alan Vogt. Alan, I appreciate your calls and all of your support as we went through this. And then obviously my family. I get caught up every once in a while. I'm trying not to get emotional. I always get emotional about my family. I don't know why. But Joanne, if anybody wants to know the true story of all this, you could talk to her. Now, she's trained at not speaking. But thank you, Joanne, and Jack, my son, who is an analytics crazy man, who is one of Josh's. He's been on the Josh Schertz fandom for over a year when I first watched Coach in the Missouri Valley a year ago. But I thank all of our family and then our staff. Lisa Miller has been the AD's assistant for many, many, many years, and she's been unbelievable until I thought we lost her on Friday. I thought I had finally driven her over the top, because she has seen everything in this place for, I won't name the number of years. She started here when she was 3, but to Lisa and to Chad and Janet, and Brian Kunnerman's done an unbelievable job, and our whole staff of rolling out the social media communication. I want to thank all of you guys for helping make this happen. Could we give our staff a round of applause? And two other unbelievably important people on campus. Vice President Danielle Wee, I think, is Danielle here? Danielle, thank you for helping make this process go. She was here. I don't know where she went. And then our Vice President for HR, Mickey Luna, and his team, and I know some of his team are here. I appreciate you guys, the fastest onboarding in the history of St. Louis University, but it's great to have a whole community come together. But our leader never flinched. Our leader, Dr. Postello, who's been with us through this whole journey, and his whole conversation was, keep doing what you're doing. You know what our values are, and you know what it takes to deliver success for student athletes. And when you have a president that is there with you every step of the way, that's committed to serving student athletes and committed to filling this arena with great basketball, that's how you get this done. And so please help me welcome Dr. Fred Postello.
It is a good day. I want to begin with thanks. Thanks to all of those who brought us to this moment this morning. And I want to begin with our fans and supporters who are with us day in, day out, year out, cheering on the Billikens and supporting the Billikens in any number of ways. Thank you. And in terms of individuals, I must start with our Director of Athletics, Chris May. Early on in this process, Chris focused on the person who we welcome as our new coach today. And throughout this process, Chris provided exactly the leadership we needed to be successful. You cannot underestimate how dedicated Chris is to this program and its successes, and how skillfully he led this effort. Chris, thank you. I also want to thank all the other members of Billiken Athletics, from Janet Overly on down, for all that you do for this program and for your hard work to get us to this moment of celebration. Thank you. Next, I want to take a moment to particularly thank those trustees who were involved in this effort. And specifically, I want to express my gratitude to Board Chair Joe Conrad. I have worked very closely with Chairman Conrad for the 10 years I have been here at St. Louis University. We started at the same time, he in his board chair role and me in the presidency. And what was clear from our first moment together is he is just absolutely insane about Billiken athletics and particularly men's basketball. Joe was deeply involved in this process, advising us, encouraging us. So Joe, thank you so much for your leadership here. I also want to thank trustee and Billiken enthusiast Rich Chaffetz, who was also very encouraging, very supportive, providing advice and wisdom to us as we move through this along the way. And then a number of other trustees, as Chris identified, Bob O'Loughlin, Johnny Johnson, Jim Kavanaugh, thank you. We have a great board of trustees who have supported us, current and former trustees. And I'm thankful for the coaches and staff of the past several years, led by Coach Ford, who elevated our program so that we could reach this point of inflection, the point of inflection we celebrate today for men's basketball. And finally, thank you to the members of the press for your interest, for your coverage, and for your understanding of the endless no-comment comments. Stu, you're a good man. Each fall, when I greet new students and parents, I do so in this wonderful arena. And I introduce them to a question that they are likely to hear from that day forward. Coach Schertz, pay attention here. You need to be ready for this question too. The question is, what is a Billiken? Now I tell them, a Billiken is a mythical figure that stands for the way the world ought to be. As members of a Jesuit university, we are all Billikens. We commit ourselves to making the world the way it ought to be. It is a great privilege to welcome a new Billiken today, one who shares this commitment, Coach Josh Schertz. Coach Schertz is a leader who has a vision for what St. Louis University men's basketball can and should be. He is a coach who is invested in helping each student athlete reach their full potential, on the court, in the classroom, and in their future endeavors. And he is a colleague who will join a talented roster of coaches and staff who are taking Billiken athletics to a new level of excellence, as demonstrated just this past weekend with our women's basketball team winning the WNIT. We are excited about what Coach Schertz's arrival means for the men's basketball seasons ahead. The exhilaration the team will bring to this arena. The drive to become one of the great Jesuit University basketball programs consistently playing in the NCAA tournament. I am also thrilled that Coach Schertz shares our commitment to what makes St. Louis University and Billiken athletics special. Our focus on the care for every student, athlete, and colleague, physically, mentally, academically, and spiritually. And our commitment to values that include gratitude and community. In this effort to develop student athletes and engage their families, we know that Coach Schertz has a full partner in his spouse, Natalia Celebos Schertz. Welcome to St. Louis University. It is a pleasure to have you here as Coach's partner in this effort. Today we also embrace Josh and Natalia's two sons, Jordan and Jaden. Josh, Natalia, Jordan, and Jaden, welcome to the Billiken family. Thank you for saying yes to St. Louis University. Here's to all the success that lies ahead. Go Billikens.
Thank you, Fred. Before I get into the profile and what we're really looking for a head coach, we do have a presentation here. Natalia, we need you up here. Come up here. We got a little something for you. Yeah. Okay, the boys come with her. She's a little scared. Come on up. Come on up. We talked last night about the Billiken, and she's like, how do you get one of those? I said, well, you put your name on a building, you do a lot of these things, or you come and be our next spouse or the head men's basketball coach. So on behalf of all Billiken family and nation, here's your official first Billiken. All right, so we went into this process. Let me share a little bit of what we were looking for. We had a profile for what are you looking at head coach. First and foremost, you're looking for a winner. You're looking for a winner. Who has won a nonstop in their career? We found a winner that in a lifetime batting percentage, lifetime winning at 787, which is in the elite level of college basketball coaches. You look for an authentic leader, one that develops leaders in young people. You look especially for a coach that fits your values. And we talked real early on in this process with Josh about our values. Starts with trust, starts with a commitment to excellence, starts with caring for people, starts with a foundation of gratitude. I was so proud that yesterday in the first 2 minutes of his conversation with the team yesterday that he talked about trust. He talked about trust in a coach, trust in a student athlete. When I saw that, I'd even reaffirmed that I believe we were at the right place. We're looking for a coach who believes that this place can be packed, that believes that we can compete not only for A-10 championships, but for the big prize. We're looking for a coach that believes that Billiken basketball can be on the nationally elite level. We're looking for a coach that could make runs in the NCAA tournament. All arrows started pointing to one person. Then we went into the market. We started talking to people about college basketball, and we laid out our profile. And many, many people said, Josh Schertz is your guy. We had people talk about his elite basketball mind. We had people tell me that he is the best relationship builder in college basketball with young people. As we had several people, including Dr. Chaffetz, Fran Frischel, and others, said he's going to remind you a lot in how he coaches in your former coach in Rick. I was blessed to, I don't want to say I snuck in, but I did stop in and see him coach someplace where people didn't exactly know I was there. And when you watch the connection he has with young people, I watch real hard timeouts, coming in and out of timeouts, coming on and off the court before the game, halftime, and after the game. And you could see his connection with his young people. You heard nationally people start talking about he's a community builder. He believes that building community and connection of the team and the community are deeply important. So that's what we started to hear. And then Josh and I, we had Zooms, we had many calls, we might have had in-person conversations, I don't know. But a couple of things that jumped out. One, we're going to play our best basketball when it matters most. Two, we're going to play to our standards. Watched him coach against Michigan State. Watched him coach a year ago against Belmont. Watched him coach many games. In fact, I watched Jaden get a little shout out from an official in one game. Jaden, you'll fit in with the Billiken faithful really well. We can't wait to see you over here on the bench getting after him. But what we kept learning and what I kept reading is that we're talking about an authentic leader. We're talking about a person that really connects with people, a person that believes in leading young people and how you put them in position. And the most important thing, I believe, is he talked about servant leadership, which the great ones, the great coaches, I believe, are servants of their student athletes. And so I couldn't be more proud and honored to bring up and introduce to you the 27th head coach of the St. Louis Billikens, Josh Schertz.
Well, first, let me thank everybody for being here today. I know some of you have to or mandated to, but really appreciate it. And some of the team managers, obviously staff, etc. But incredibly special day for me. Could not be more excited to be the next head men's basketball coach here at St. Louis. It's an incredible honor, and can't wait to get started. Want to thank Dr. Costello, Chris May, along with the Board of Trustees. They were just incredible throughout this process. Chris touched on a little bit. It was an interesting, to say the least, month for us. Post the Missouri Valley tournament. But Chris, as Dr. Costello said, Chris did an amazing job of making me a priority, showing how committed he was, letting me learn about the values, but never came off as trying to push me or put me in a situation where I wasn't able to. I felt pressure to make a decision, and that's a hard needle to thread, to be honest with you. And he just navigated that beautifully, and I felt like as time went on, it just felt right. But I got to, because we played so long, got to develop a great relationship with not only he, but Dr. Costello, as well as Dr. Chaffetz and others. And St. Louis just fit what I was looking for perfectly, and incredibly grateful to be standing up here in front of you today. Want to thank and recognize my family, my wife, Natalia. She's an equal partner in this. She's been, all 16 years I've been a head coach. I always talk about, I think if you do coaching right, it's kind of like being a step parent, right? It's you learn to love and care for kids that are not biologically yours like they're biologically yours, just like what a good step parent would do. And she's been, she embodies that more than any person I've ever been around. It's aspirational for me to be as good at the kids as she is and care for the kids the way she does. And she brings a mother figure and a woman's touch to a program that I think, we always talk about family, but she certainly makes it family. And so I'm incredibly lucky to have you, love you, thank you for this. My son, thank you. My son Jaden will be transferring in with me from Indiana State here to SLU. It's not getting quite the national recognition that Tucker DeVries following Darren did. I'm not sure why, I don't know, but it's really not hit the, ESPN's not doing stories on it, but I can't figure it out. But he's going to be joining us, so we will be bringing him with us. So, but it's been a joy to be able to be around him, to spend this time with him, as we all know that in athletics, coaching, administration, staff, you commit a lot of your time to other people's kids. It's amazing to have the chance to spend day to day with your own, and that's something special. And it's made these last 2 years, and hopefully the years to come, some of the best of my coaching career. So love you, thank you. And then my oldest son, Jordan. Jordan is just unbelievable. I love him to death. He's going to be moving here to St. Louis with us. Look forward to sharing this journey with him, and he'll be at all the games and be the best cheerer in the crowd for sure, rooting Billiken basketball on. I do want to thank my players at Indiana State. I'm not dumb enough or crazy enough to think I'm up here because of me. I'm up here because I had some unbelievable players who were phenomenal competitors, guys who created an incredible team this year, certainly with 32 wins, but last year and going back to my time at Lincoln Memorial, I've been incredibly lucky to surround myself with some remarkable young men who have gone on to accomplish and create great teams and gone on to accomplish some incredible things. So want to make sure I thank those players, because again, I know I'm not up here because of me. Want to thank all the former coaches and players that built St. Louis Billiken basketball. Want you to know that this is your program. I'm honored to be the caretaker of it, but that's what I am, the caretaker. And it's your guys' program. We want to make sure all the Billikens that built this feel welcome, that we want you back, want you involved, would love to have you around. My staff and I will be, open in any way we can to accommodate that. I did get a chance to talk to Coach Grawer yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. He's going in for some knee replacement surgery, but once he's up and around, we'll have him back and get that rolling. So look forward to getting to meet him in person. I know Chris mentioned Rick Majerus, and Coach is somebody that I when I first really started thinking about getting into coaching, he was somebody I really looked up to, not just because we obviously share an affinity for food and wear cool sweaters and even have cool hairdos. So, but it was more than that, although that's a lot of commonality. And so when I first decided I want to get into coaching, I didn't have much money, but I scraped together enough, and I flew to Salt Lake City. And the first thing I did when I was a college student is I went and I spent 4 weeks and worked at Coach Majerus's camp just to be around him and just to see what it was like for him. And he was, I stayed, different in dorms, and I stayed with his assistant Jeff Strom. I mean, I spent 4 weeks though in Salt Lake City just watching everything he did, trying to emulate everything he did, the way he taught the game, the detail. He is a genius, one of the all-time, in my opinion, great coaches, not just in basketball but in sports. And it's an honor to try to come here and hopefully fulfill what he thought this place could be. And I look forward to that challenge. Indiana State, I got to sit in the same chair that Coach Wooden did, and now here at SLU, Coach Majerus. So I don't have to worry about being. The cool part is there's no pressure to be the best coach ever at Indiana State or SLU. Those are taken, so I'm happy to not have that pressure to have to try to live up to those guys. If I was going to leave a place that I was incredibly happy, and I was at Indiana State, make no mistake, it was an amazing community, had great relationships, and a place that was very invested. I knew early on it was only going to be for a place that I felt like was a life-changing opportunity and a great fit for me personally. And those were the things that the boxes that had to be checked. And and I found that here in St. Louis. The alignment across the board from the very top down, going through this process, you could just see the facilities that they have here, the resources, the infrastructure, all the values that they talk about are aligned with who I am as a person and how I want to run my program. And you don't find that all the time. I know people, as the process wore on, and it went on for a while. Chris said it last night, we had dinner. He's like, they never wavered. And just as time went on for me, I know there were some anxious moments for them, but for me, it just grew on me and dawned on me that this was the right fit for me, my family, and to move my career forward. And, it checked all my boxes. We have goals here, certainly, not just, in terms of winning championships. I think every place has that. But I also think, where we're aligned is that we want our players to have an exceptional student-athlete experience while they pursue winning championships. It's certainly, we all want to win, cut down nets. We all want to do what our women's team just did. But I think there's an alignment in terms of, we want every single player to have an exceptional student-athlete experience while they pursue greatness, while they pursue championships. I think there's shared values you can see in the Champion Center about not just, the transactional piece of this, but that the holistic development of our student athletes matters to SLU, and it matters to me. And you can just see it. You walk through there, all the different resources, amenities, from nutrition to counseling to sports psychology to the practice. I mean, you go through it. I'm big on creating an environment where our student athletes can pursue being the best versions of themselves. And SLU is at this place. When you walk in it, it just radiates off to you that this is what we want. We want to create an environment for you to be the very best version of yourself. I'm also incredibly excited to become a part of this community of St. Louis. I've heard so much about it, and just, obviously very new to everything here, but it's been amazing. Just being out and around the town. I can't wait to immerse myself in this community with these people. We've done that, Natalia and I have, our family has, in Harrogate, and in Terre Haute, which combined, I think, is like 65,000 people, so a little more people to immerse ourselves with here, but we look forward to doing that. We look forward to being out and about on campus and in the city of St. Louis, and it's an unbelievable basketball area, getting out and connecting here with the coaches in the community in the area, the AAU programs. We want to be, and we are, St. Louis's team, and we certainly want to represent that every single day. So looking forward to that, and also, can't wait to, I think Chris hit on it, connect our program to this community, and that's where the magic happens. It's what you saw at Lincoln Memorial over our time there. It's what you saw in Terre Haute when you looked up and you're seeing 10,000 people in a town of 60,000 coming to the games, and you guys that watched us at Hinkle, those were neutral site games, but there was no neutral when you were talking about Indiana State and our fans. And when you can connect the program, the community, that's where the magic does happen. Our job, my staff's job, is to give the people here players that and a team that they can wrap their arms around, that they want to support, that they want to get behind, quality young men, and that are first class and represent SLU basketball in a first class way, in the classroom, on the court, and in the community. And you have my word, we will do that. We will make no missteps in putting together a program that everybody around will be proud to be a part of. In terms of style of play, I hope people are going to see an exciting brand of basketball, entertaining. They're going to see a group that plays with fast pace, joy, a group that plays for one another, a group that cares about winning, a group that cares about each other. I think hopefully a group that plays to win, and that winning is most important to it. I think that's a huge piece, and I think that's going to be attractive. We want to get people in here, and people want to watch. They want you to win, but they want to be entertained, and we plan on doing both those things. We plan on winning, but we plan on doing it in a way that is entertaining for everybody. I know our offense will get a lot of pub, and That's the way it is in basketball and should be. But we hope to play, really high level and efficient basketball on both ends. I think I told this to Chris, and he almost fell over, but we were actually in the Missouri Valley's, if you know anything about that league, it's a defensive league. There's some great defensive coaches, Brian Wardle, Ben Jacobson, Darren DeVries, et cetera. They got a lot of great coaches in that league. And again, kind of an underrated fact, but we were number one in the Missouri Valley in defensive efficiency in our 20 league games. So, we were not only the best offense in the league, but we were the best defense in the league. And those things tie together. And so we'll be a team that hangs our hat on defending. And then if our defense is good, that'll allow us to play the way we want to play offensively. And so, but we look forward to putting together a product on this floor and packing this place out as people watch us and watch a group that plays the right way, plays connected, plays together, but plays to win and plays both ends of the floor. So excited about that. A little bit about my vision, and philosophy in terms of the program. Core value-wise, and I covered a little bit of this with the guys yesterday, but, and I think Chris touched on as well, our number one, core value is relationships. I'm a relationship guy. I am somebody who, there's a lot of ways to lead. I lead by connecting. I lead by serving. That's the way I choose to lead. I don't think there's a right or wrong way, but that's the way I do it. I'm going to pour everything I have into our players, be completely invested and devoted to them, their successes, and they're going to get everything that I have, our staff has, to make them better. But the relationships aren't just from me and our staff to the players. It's, probably the most important relationships in any team are player to player, and making sure that we bring in people that have shared values as it relates to work and competition and being a great teammate and all the other things that go into it, but preparation, et cetera. And we will do that. We'll bring in a group that has shared values. And so those relationships, coach to coach, coach to player, player to player, player to coach, will all be in alignment. But that's our number one core value, is that relational piece. The second is work. I wish there was some sort of shortcut to it, but a lot of you in here know there's no secrets. The magic is always in the work, and you got to roll your sleeves up and do it. You got to do it every single day. You got to put your signature on your work every single day, and we will. And we're going to, get after it. Our guys will. There'll be a daily process, and we'll focus on that on a regular basis. But we always say, we're not for everybody, and we know that, but we're for the right ones. And if we were for everybody, I don't think we would have been able to accomplish what we have over the last 16 years when I've been a part of these teams. So we don't want that ever, lower our standards for how we operate. The third core value is growth. You guys have seen a lot at going back to my time at LMU, and certainly, and we'll bring it here, Indiana State, Kaizen. And Kaizen's a Japanese term that basically, I was always looking for something cool. Bill Belichick had "Do Your Job," and all the people have really cool slogans. I had no cool slogan. It was like, embrace the growth process. No one wants that, So I've always been very process oriented. And what Kaizen means is commitment to continual improvement. And basically the way we frame it with our guys is we're about daily excellence, daily improvement. And that's the core of who we are. I think, we want our players. I think, player development is personal development. I think to be the best player you can be, you got to be the best man and person you can be. And so we're going to really espouse that with our guys and hold our guys to that. But we're going to certainly help our guys develop the very best they can academically, as a person. And certainly we want them as a player as well to reach their full potential. And so that growth piece for us is a third core value. And then last is winning. I think there's some guys play for stats, some guys play to win. I think you got to get guys that play to win, that care about team results over everything else. And a lot of people say they do, but it's you find that there's a lot of great players who aren't great winners, and there's some great winners who aren't great players, but the best players are both. And we're going to hunt great players who are great winners. And if we miss, we hope we miss on a guy who's maybe not as great a player as we thought, but's a great winner. If you have that, you got a chance to win a lot of games at a high level. It's the secret sauce of who we are. But those are really from a value standpoint, a core value standpoint, how the vision I see for building this, the philosophy which we're going to undertake to do it. I could not be more honored to have this opportunity. This is exactly where I want to be, exactly the place for me. Can't wait to partner, not just with Chris and with Dr. Postello, Joe and Dr. Chaffetz and the board, and Bob and everybody, but everyone here, the fans, the staff, the department, our team, and look forward to building something special. And that work begins today. Thank you so much.
Now, I think there's some microphones, so we'll do some Q&A here, and then Josh will go in and do individual media stuff. So any questions, have at it, and then we'll move on from there. But thanks, everybody, for being here. Thank you.
All right, we have Ellie back here in the back with a microphone. If anybody in the back row needs to ask questions. Anybody up here with a question?
Hey, Josh. Ben Fredrickson, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Welcome to St. Louis. Congratulations. You mentioned the word joy. Why is that such an important part of your coaching style, and how do you foster that in players and guys on your team?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's a central value to who we are. I think you try to, in recruiting, I think you try to find guys that can, bring an energy. I think there's, people who can drain energy from a room, people who bring it, and those who leave it neutral. We certainly look for it. We try to coach in a way that allows joy. We try to take what we do very seriously, but not take ourselves too seriously. We try to find fun in this process. I mean, we're amongst the luckiest people in the world to get to. I mean, you're putting a ball through a ring, and you're getting, the opportunity to do that every day. To get together, be a part of a team, compete. I think it's just kind of who I am. I enjoy. I'm somebody who's gets up every day extremely happy, and I love what I do. I love the people I get to do it with. I want our players to feel that same way, and I think when you can keep things light, keep things in perspective, and make it a part of humor, a part of your daily process, and it is for us. That allows everybody from staff to players to come to work and feel that sense of joy, and that's what we've done, at Lincoln Memorial, Indiana State, and what we plan to bring here. But it all starts with the people.
Any other questions for Coach Schertz? Fans? Anybody? All right. Oh, right here.
I'm Mike Glines, a fan,
Yeah.
season ticket holder. You didn't speak to your assistants. How do you pick your assistants? How do you organize your staff?
Well, if you look at my staff, I try to find short, bald people so that will make me, I don't look as bad in the pictures and stuff. So that's kind of how people would assume, but that's really not true. But people would say that, and maybe there's some accuracy to it. Maybe it's subconsciously. Staff, I've always tried to find people to work with that are highly intelligent, have a great capacity for work, have high levels of humility, and are high character people. Those have been the four things I've always looked for. Like, if you can get people who are super intelligent, work incredibly hard, have humility, and are high character people, because if you get the first two and you don't have the character piece, those guys can tear a program down. If you're going to have somebody who's really intelligent and works really hard but's a bad person, they can bring an entire organization down. So you got to have people that are high character people. I've been really lucky to surround myself with that over the last 16 years as a head coach. And without revealing too much, I think got a chance to have a staff that'll be as good as any in the country, and could not be more excited to get to work and work with these guys, because it is a collaboration, and I don't, like anywhere, we work together, and I'm a part of that, but I think I'm going to have a staff that I'm going to learn way more from them than they will from me, and I can't wait to start.
Coach, with the slow-paced schedule that you have, is the Eclipse on your schedule today?
There's an eclipse today. I'm gonna try to. I'll see. Maybe I can see it out of my office window. I'm gonna try to check it out. So I'll see if I can. There's a lot of natural light in there, so hopefully I'll be able to catch it. Hopefully I'll be able to catch. I'm sure I'll be working.
So the second thing is, if you want to see joy on the basketball court, watch the last quarter of the women's game last Saturday.
Absolutely. You want to see the opposite of joy? Watch the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds of our NIT final.
Coach Stu Duranda with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I noticed that from pictures back at Lincoln Memorial, you wore suits on the sideline. You've been more casual as the trend has moved that way for coaches. What can we expect from your sideline apparel?
Geez. I'm probably gonna stay with the more casual. Although, I mean, you know, I've seen it both ways. But my staff would be very angry with me if I went and made them all wear suits for games. So I never was a big suit guy. You know, obviously I don't have like a, you know, model's body to just pick them off the rack. So I'm all about comfort in those games. And so I'm super uncomfortable right now, but I'm getting through it. So. But no, I think we'll just stick with the casual Nike wear, and we just whatever, you know, we try to play like the NBA. We're just going to try to also dress like the NBA as well. So we're just going to model everything up from there. Great question though. Thanks, Stu.
Any additional questions right here in the back? Ellie's going to come around.
Hi, Coach. Rob Curtin, staff member and men's basketball season ticket holder. What qualities do you look for, non-basketball qualities do you look for in the students and families you recruit?
That's a good question. You know, we spend a lot of time on somebody's competitive character. Certainly, their inner circle is a huge piece of that. You know, who's in their corner. But I think it's always, you get down to, you know, we talked about shared values, right? And you want guys that you know, love to work, love to compete, are great teammates, right? I mean, there's certain intangible things that you got to have when you bring a group together, because you're going to bring people from varied backgrounds, religions, parts of the country. There's not, you know, there's obviously all the stuff that divides you. And what really unifies teams is those shared values, right? So how guys look at work, how guys look at competition. Are they great teammates? Do they care about winning more than anything else? Are they, you know, do they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves? You know, the way we play, there's a lot of guys who, you know, honestly would look at that and say, I don't want to play that way because of one guy doesn't dominate the ball. We don't play with somebody, you know, just going out and taking, you know, 25 shots or, you know, their you know, the ball's in their hands all the time. So now it's the way they're going to play at the next level. But they got to want that for themselves, and the way we play, the way we do things, it's all about, you know, sacrificing, enjoying each other's success, being invested in your teammates, being a great teammate, and competing, working, and so we hunt those shared values, and the assistants that will come with me. A lot of the guys have worked with me. They know I'm unrelenting in that area. We're never going to compromise on those intangible pieces, because those intangible pieces are what allow you to succeed at the highest level. It's a good question.
All right, Coach, over here to your right. This will be the last question here.
My name's Aiden. I'm a season ticket holder. How do you take a team with a rough year and bounce them back into like a winning team the next year?
Well, don't look at my first years at LMU or Indiana State. Gloss over those. But no, I think, look, you know, this is a part of it. You know, a big part of life is how you respond. And, you know, we've got to look at, put a locker room together. What wins is always the same thing. You know, you got to have elite talent and you got to have elite character to start. Then you get into all the intangible things, right? But it starts with putting a roster together that has the talent and the character to compete for championships. Once you have that, then your competitiveness, the kind of teammates they are, all those other intangible things, the way they work, all those type of things matter. So what we have to do, coming off last year, is assemble a roster that, of course, I mean, you can't miss on either one of those areas. If you're super talented, you know, the character, you're never going to win at the level you should. If you have great guys who are unbelievable human beings, but they're not talented, you'll win less than the team that has talent and bad guys. So it's getting the combination of those two things together. The talent and the character allows you to achieve at the highest level, win championships. Championship teams are champions well before they're crowned. Our team at Indiana State, starting back in June, you know, had championship habits, championship aspirations, and you know, they were crowned in March, but they were champions long before we cut those nets down. Great question.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here.